I'm all about the good vibes, the good vibes. We bout to have a good time, a good time. Leave my problems all behind, all behind. We living out the good life, yeah. I ain't gotta worry about a thing.
Oh no.
Had some obstacles I overcame.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to ever be the same.
Oh Lord.
Cause when we change the mind, we change the game. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kenny Clutch with another episode on the Clutchvision podcast. I got a really special guest in the building tonight, and he's actually driving right now. So we do it raw. We don't care where it's at. This is what you call straight up. We get down, and this is the realest podcast, the most positive podcast going on in the world right now. I got my man, the legend himself, Slim from the legendary R&B group 112 in the building. What's going on, baby?
Oh man, what's going on, y'all? What's up, man? Oh man, just blessed, man. Coming out of the studio. Oh man, just made some amazing music. So it will be coming to you all very soon. So oh man, and I'm just happy that you allow me to be on your platform. This is a very positive situation right here, and definitely glad to be a part of it.
Awesome, brother. Awesome, man. Well, listen, let's get into it, man. Like, first and foremost, how is the family doing, during the pandemic right now? How's everybody doing first and foremost? Before we get into any music, any stuff like that, let's talk about life,
Oh yeah. Well, that man, everything's been great. I mean, I've been kind of using this time to actually be closer to my family because I'm always on the road. And man, I mean, my boys, they come over, they come visit, I have my mom with me. I mean, she's usually always traveling and want to be in her own space. But, I told her, I said, hey, Mom, I'm always out on the road. You're always saying how much you miss me and I'm not sitting still. But this is the perfect shot, right?
This is it right here. This is it right here.
This is it right here, because once it gets popping again, I don't want to hear no excuse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Hey, it's what we asked for. For those people that say, yo, I can't stand my job. I can't. Well, now you at home.
You at home. This is the biggest vacation you'll get. You know what I mean? And guess what? You even got paid for. You got $1,200 out of it.
Exactly. Yo, you got a little change, man. You got a little change, man. So listen, man. So so for those that that don't know you, you know what I'm saying, but tell the people, I would like to know about Slim version number 1, before the success, before the fame, because we always get to see the big part of it, the glorious part of things when you guys your rise to fame and stuff like that, and the hit records and everything. But our audience wants to also hear about the grind and what you had to become. What was version 1 like in the beginning, before everything popped off for y'all?
Oh man, well, you know what? Anybody knows anything about well, if I was introducing myself, like for those that don't know our story or whatever, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. The neighborhood where we're from is called Cleveland Avenue. A lot of times people are associated with, younger people like, oh, that's where Young Thug. Well, before Young Thug, it was definitely 112. You know what I'm saying? And we're from the neighborhood. Actually, we know a lot of his family members, older family members. And basically, in the neighborhood that we were from, we weren't supposed to have this type of chance to do exactly what we're doing right now. This is a blessing. Either you had a jump shot, you score touchdowns, or you on the block. You're in the bando.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, what I mean, I mean, if we were paying attention to society,
right,
we would not have the shot. So that's why I said, I feel blessed and humble every day. Anytime I get a blessing, it is just like, it's amazing. So we all grew up together, all in the same neighborhood, and we all had we just had one passion, at the time and in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, against all odds, against anybody that told us no, we had a lot of doors slammed in our face, told no, said that we couldn't do it. But guess what? especially at the beginning, we all had the same energy. We all had the same. We wanted to be successful, and we wanted to do it together. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I mean, it's all because of God, man. I'm in front, man. Like we can't take any of this stuff for ourselves. We can't say, oh, it was all us or whatever. No, no, no. This is all God right here. You know.
Absolutely. So when did you guys actually officially break into the scene? It was the late '90s, right?
Yes, it was in '96. It was in '96 when our album first came out, and we were blessed. First single out the gate. The first single out the gate was like went #1, and you know, and made our album. Well, the first single made our album go platinum. Our third single, which is entitled Cupid, made our album go triple platinum. So
wow,
that was absolutely a blessing.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
You know you were responsible for a lot of babies in this world, right?
Oh, now I'm telling you right now. I'm telling everybody. Listen, look at me, okay, y'all. I'm not responsible for child support. Okay, like, I am not responsible, man. But you know what? All of the love that's been made, all of the beautiful feelings, like, you know, that was, you know, the beautiful feeling. You know what we made everybody feel like. Oh man.
A 2445 Chevy at Glen on the right.
Oh man, where in the world am I? So yeah, so like I just feel blessed. I just feel blessed that, you know, well, like anything and everything that we went through, and it was like every time I think about it, it's like, man, we were supposed, you know, a lot of people told us, oh, you're not gonna be able to do it. Oh man, you're not gonna, you know, oh man, or if you do it, you might have one shot at it.
Right.
Oh, you might have this one shot. Y'all better make a second make a second option. Oh, make a second option, and you know, after your second option, you know, because you know, they always tell us, oh man, you know, music, you know, this, even my mom, you know, she always thought it was a phase, you know, your friend. Yeah, you know, your friend.
The doubters, pretty much.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So you know, it was a phase. You know, it's all good. So.
Yeah. So like, yeah, because I mean, I know me, man. I've had, you know, doubters in my lifetime, and people that said that I was never going to make it in the dance world, because I'm a professional dancer as well too. So I started, you know, just wanted to bless people with my movement, and it was like my mom even was looking at me like I was crazy at first. Like she was like, "Yo, I want you to," because I had dropped out of college. And I just wanted to pursue dance. Like I wanted to be in the dance industry, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I made it happen. But it was just like, yo, like you always gonna have those doubters, or those people that don't believe, especially when you first starting out. And even my mom looked at me like I was crazy because I dropped out of college. I was supposed to be an architect. I didn't want to do it. I was just like, you know what? That's not for me. Like my love and passion is geared towards, you know, making people smile and feel happy, you know, through dancing. And, you know, like what was the drive and the determination, you know, that you guys dealt with? Was it the circumstances that you guys were facing living in your area, or you know,
that was
motivation. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was motivation for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to get out, you know, because everybody knows, like, when you become successful, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to get your mom a new house. You want to get your family and all the close ones out, you know what I mean, of the neighborhood that you're in and stuff like that. So it was one of those things where, you know, that was our main goal. So, you know, and then it was just a lot, and it was a lot of doubters, you know what I mean? It was a lot of people just saying that, you know, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. But we kept our faith in God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So, man,
so did like during that time, like, you know, if fear ever, like, you know, set in, and if it did set in, what did you do to get out of that mode? I said, did fear ever sit in during those times? And if it did sit in,
Yes,
what did you do to get out of that mode?
plenty of times.
Mm.
Plenty of times. Let me tell you something. We thought that we failed, or we always had obstacles where, oh man, where you would think that and this was like even before the album came out. Like, you always have the obstacles, like when you're trying to get in the door. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to get in the door, seem like it's not moving fast enough. In the beginning, 112 had 5 people. We had 5 people. Before we were called 112, we were called Forte, right?
Okay.
So music was our forte, and Forte actually stood for Forever en Route to Excellence, right? So Forte had 5 singers in there. Now the two guys that were older than we were basically had life to deal with, because so basically once you graduate out of high school, it was like, hey man, you had your family saying to you, looking and saying, look, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because you can't sit around this house. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to be able to contribute? So if you don't have a scholarship or anything like that, these 2 guys were forced to have to go to the armed forces. Now, even though it was sad for us, we knew that, because of the neighborhood that we were in, they didn't have much choice. Right. And it was sad, but we were like, we have to let them go. We have to, we have to respect their wishes or whatever. So meanwhile, we were still young. We were still like sophomore and juniors in high school. So, we still had a little time. So of course, you're going to go through bumps and barriers. And then even when we got the situation, oh man, there was so many like ups and downs. If y'all knew half, just a corner of what goes in the industry. Oh man. Yeah, man. But you know what? We kept our faith in God. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew and we believed in each other. You know what I'm saying? So, at the time, hey, that's all we had. Right. We are all we got. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So I would tell everybody that's listening to my voice, you know what I mean? Keep your faith in God, man. And you know what I mean? The people that are on your side or whatever, it's okay to have, doubters and non-believers. Keep your circle small and close, because when you get to where you're going, hey man, that's all you have. That's all you really need. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, man, because and I hear you, brother, because my story, I tell people all the time, like my son Christian, he was diagnosed with leukemia back in 2018. And then, the things that we had to overcome, the things that, fear set in. But when it did set in, we prayed to God, like God is so real, and he's there with you the entire time. Like he never really left. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
At all.
He's right
He never
there.
left. He's there all the time. So like going through the things that we went through, I mean, thank God we beat cancer in half the time expected, and sometimes God is just going to show up halfway if you meet him halfway, and it seems like you guys met him halfway, and he guided you guys through, an amazing career, because I got all the albums, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Blessings, man.
First of all,
thank you.
Let me square. I got albums on cassette.
Let's go back.
Let's go.
Hey man, you don't seem old enough to be knowing what cassettes are, man.
Listen, I'm 36, baby.
Okay. Well, okay, you got a baby face. Okay, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? So when y'all came out, I was 12 when y'all came out. You know what I'm saying? So I was like in 5th, 6th grade or whatever, and that's when it first hit for me. And I'm like, yo, this group is like, I'm sitting there dancing with my cousins, and we jamming at grandma's house. Like, as a matter of fact, I believe that you guys performed at Newark Symphony Hall years ago.
Oh, wow.
That was when I first seen you guys on stage. Like, that's how deep, you know what I'm saying? Like, we go back. And my godmother, she worked at Newark Symphony Hall. So she was one of the directors there. So I got into all the concerts, Queen Latifah, Drew Hill, Naughty by Nature. Like, I'm a young buck, 12 years old, front row. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to ask you, like, as you guys climb, through the industry, You know, what were some of the speed bumps that you guys had to go through, and how did you guys keep your circle so tight?
Okay, well, we kind of knew, like, you know, just doing your homework, we kind of knew that, you know, we were going to, you know, have to overcome some obstacles, but we had no idea, you know, how it was going to come in waves. So you had these situations first, like, okay, so you have the situations of when we came, there was an explosion of guy groups. Okay, so
Yes.
you're thinking to yourself like, okay, what's going to make us different from everybody else? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what we had to do was, you know, we had to say, okay, we had to know where our strengths were and what our weaknesses were.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is making the plans and the preparations before you even get through the door. So when we put the group together, we made sure that it was a 4-man group. It was a 4-man where it were 4 lead singers of the group, where, you know, and you know, we really, really concentrated on backgrounds and stuff like that. Another thing that we also did was when we rehearsed, we also practiced writing, and then Duran, because of, you know, he knew how to play the piano pretty well. But, you know, it was a blessing that, you know, while we were in school, we ran into, when we were doing talent shows, we were winning a lot of talent shows. We ran into a guy, his name is Courtney Sills, and he was very cool with Tim and Bob. And I don't know if you know of the super producers, Tim and Bob. They were signed with Dallas Austin at the time.
Okay.
So we originally was supposed to be their group. So we were coming to the Dallas studio and was learning how to work the studio and stuff like that. And at the time, they were working on Boyz II Men's second album.
Okay.
Number 2. So we were blessed in being in high school, working with Wanye and Sean, and they were teaching us how to write. With the harmonies, we already had the harmonies. We were studying like Take 6 and Commission, if you know anything about gospel world or whatever, like very invincible groups, you know, who definitely concentrate on backgrounds as well as lead singing. And got with Boyz II Men, they were pretty much the same way if you look at the structure of Boyz II Men. So that was like an advantage. This was before we had a deal. You know what I'm saying? We were still in high school. So a lot of those songs that you heard on the first album, we recorded that.
Yeah.
Man, I was probably 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So, and I didn't have a deal. And they, you know, but because we were working with Tim and Bob and we were already kind of sounding like that. So when we got to New York, now we're dealing with the big fish. Yeah. You know, you got the big fish, and we're trying, it's one studio. You got Jodeci, you got, oh man, Blackstreet going on, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, look, we're trying to get in there. We're already signed to Puff, but everybody wanted to get with Puff. Puff had the sound, you know what I mean? We're the little small, you know what I'm saying? We the guys trying to get in. We trying to, you know what I mean, get in where we fit in. So, man, we were like, man, we get in here, we're not gonna waste no time. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go in here. We're gonna make sure that those records sound absolutely amazing. You know what I'm saying? So we got in there. We did what we supposed to do, and you know what I'm saying. A lot of times, you know, just because we didn't do anything wrong, sometimes they would just say, okay, well, this is their, okay, well, these guys over here, Jodeci already sold millions of records. Okay, Blackstreet already came out. They will already start selling millions of records. You know what I'm saying? We haven't sold anything yet. So, you know, they were kind of like pushing us off to the side. So, you know, respect was a lot of stuff that we had to, you know, endure. You know, we had to earn it. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't talk it. You had to earn it. So time we got in there, hey, first single, Only You with a Notorious B.I.G.
Yes.
Okay. The next time you jumped in there, remix. You know what I'm saying? We got together with the producer. He believed in us. We all now know him as Stevie J.
Yes.
We did the remix. Oh man. So now we met this cat. You know what I'm saying? He had a little T-tort like this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, is he from the South? He was like, no, I'm from Harlem. You know what I'm saying? What was his name? Mace. You know what I'm saying? We're like, hey man, we like you, man. Hey man, come on in here, man. You know what I'm saying? I think you got something to say, man. So He came in there, you know what I'm saying? He dropped his joint. So every time we came in, that was the one thing about 112. We rarely made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? That as far as the musical aspect of the situation, you know what I'm saying? Like fun fact, 112 came out, 112, we got 6 albums. Out of the 6 albums, you know, there are other groups. You got what? Jagged Edge got like 10 of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, we have 6 albums. Out the 6 albums, 5 of them went multi-platinum. You know what I'm saying? No other group of our generation can say that.
Nah, heavy, yo. Because they was all bangers, yo. Like,
blessings, man.
It's very rare. Like nowadays, like, you know, you don't really have the male R&B groups or anything like that. And
like,
even going into like the later 2000s, it started to fade out. But back then, man, like with y'all albums, I felt like you could just put it on and just let that joint rock. Like you ain't you ain't have to skip a record.
Exactly.
You know
exactly. That's what we wanted.
Right.
That's exactly what we wanted, because at the end of the day, it was like we were like perfectionists, but at the end of the day, we felt like we were servants of our fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna work, you're gonna bust your ass, and you're gonna go out here and you're trying to figure out when a Tuesday come out, this is what y'all have to, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I know I got bills, but on a Tuesday, this album come out, I gotta also, if I play video games, this video game come out. Right. If I want to watch a movie, this, you know what I'm saying, this movie also comes out. So that at the time we were buying buying those DVDs, right?
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, is not making a whole bunch of money where they can just spend $100 up in, you know what I'm saying, Best Buys, you know what I'm saying? Right. So if I ain't got but $20, $30, what am I gonna spend it on? Right. So we have to make sure that, you know, our brand is bun, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So we felt like, you know, we don't have but this one shot. You know what I'm saying?
Shot, yeah. And you know, I mean, even with artists today, it's like, listen, like, what advice can you give them, especially right now during the pandemic that we in, right?
Oh,
you was just in the studio just now.
Yeah.
So what advice can you give to the up and coming artists right now to, you know, how do they continue to move forward?
I tell them, hey, always remain humble and always remain students of the game. I don't care how many albums you're selling. Hey, especially these rappers and stuff like this. I remember when we were at the top of our game, where it seemed like I can whisper ABCs and sell 3, 4, 5 million records. And you know what I'm saying? And it's a difference between what's going on now and what's going on then.
Yeah, man.
Now you got streams where you get paid less than a penny of a stream or whatever. In our world, when you sold 5 million copies, it was 5 million real CDs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You actually sold 5 million copies. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the labels were actually making. And it's easy to just calculate the money. You know what I'm saying? If you sold 1 million, if you went platinum, you actually sold 1 million copies, and the majority of the CDs cost $15, $16.99. Blink it. Hey, these labels were making like $20 million, done near $20 million per million joint. So 112, we sold 27 million records. So do the math.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Heavy.
So in this game, it ain't like that.
No.
These guys, they got them signing these 360 situations where they take your merchandise and they front you your money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They front you your money, and then you have to pay them back more, you know what I'm saying, on your money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would look at every artist and say, be very wise with your money. You know what I'm saying? Treat this job like you would treat any other type of situation where you were doing. I don't care whatever you were doing before you got this job. Hey, treat that job just like how you would do it.
Yeah.
Hey, don't blow your money or whatever, because look what's happening. Look, this pandemic.
Exactly.
Nobody saw this happening.
Nobody.
They're telling us right now. They don't even know when we're going to do another show, a real show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They might some people are saying 2021. Yeah. So be smart, be vigilant, be students of the game, stay in the studio, stay having all types of situations, because it's different now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We'll come out with an album, wait 2-3 years.
Right.
And everybody be like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, they on tour, they come back, okay, 2-3. Now, you darn near have to put out 2 albums a year.
Right, a year. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny you say like be wise with your money, because even in the good book, even in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes, I think it's chapter 11.
Yes.
Solomon talks about invest in many ventures. He says invest in 7, yes, and 8, because you don't know when disaster is going to come.
You don't know.
You don't know, so it's always
Yeah.
best to because a lot of people, they'll take that money, boom, and especially if you ain't never had no money before.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Hey,
so
man.
so check this out. Let me paint this for you. So a couple months ago, I was at the 10X Growth Conference in Las Vegas, and Kevin Hart came on to speak at the event, and he gave financial advice for those that come into their first big paycheck, pretty much, and told this story how his first real big money or whatever was like $250,000, right?
Right. I
And
remember them days.
he spent the entire thing, like he went off on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Nobody told him that he had to pay taxes on that money,
Here we go, man. This is what I'm talking about.
right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So preach about how preach about how you gotta put this money to the side, like set it to the side.
It's breakdown.
Right.
I can break down $1 million, right?
Right.
If they gave you $1 million, you got $1 million on the contract. Like, first off, you're already in a different you're already in a different, platform here, right? So you're a millionaire. So now you're really in it's a 47% situation. Well, let's just round this bad boy to about 50%.
Right.
So really, if they gave you $1 million, you really didn't get but $500,000, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump on there right there. So the government about to take half. Let's straight up. So you got $500,000. Now, let's say you're an artist. What do people want to do when they get money? Okay. All right. So first thing they want to do is get I don't know. Like, there's rappers, they think different from I'm R&B. I'm very R&B, okay?
Right.
Like me, I was trying to get out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool now. You know what I'm saying? These rappers, they'll buy $250,000 worth of jewelry and stay in the hood. I don't get that. Whatever. Okay, whatever.
Right.
Me, I was trying to get the hell up out of, Cleveland Avenue. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, my first situation, I was like, man, I don't care, because I stayed in a little spot. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, man, then I already had a son. Okay, so, okay, freak me. Okay, I need to get back to the breakdown. Yeah. All right. So everybody want to buy jewelry. Okay. So let's say they spend $100,000 worth of jewelry. Okay. A watch, you know what I'm saying? Necklace. Yeah. They want the Rolly, you know what I'm saying? They want this, they want, but this is, for me, well, I'm growing, this is enough. This is more than enough. I'm gonna leave it alone, you know what I mean? But if you're a rapper, oh man, they want it all.
Well, joint.
Right? So they want a joint. So that's about $100,000. That's gone. So that's 400,000. Right. Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah, you got about $100,000 left.
Okay, hey, so you got the cars, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's say you got a car. Oh man, well, a Ferrari about to be about. Oh man, this is already gone. So $200,000. Here we go. We out. All right. So let's say you don't want a Ferrari. Let's say you want a Benz, a proper Benz, a Range Rover. That's about $150,000-$160,000. Okay. Boom. All right. Well, now we're down to really $240,000. All right. Man. Oh, we want to flip a coin, right? Do you want a house or you want clothes?
Right.
and then after that, people want to travel. They want to go. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And they want to show out in front of their friends and stuff like that.
Right.
People want to know how you can spend $1 million in less than a month. I just showed you. Look, it's just like that. And I'm telling you right now, in our world, after they give you that money has to last till you get some type of residual or anything that's popping. Man, by the time you get publishing is 12 months after the date that it comes out. So let's just say you started recording your album, realistically, by the time you finish everything, it's gonna take about 4 to 6 months. Especially like, you know what I'm saying, you dealing with a label, packaging, and all this crazy stuff or whatever. Now, meanwhile, they're spending your money. So that $1 million is a loan. So they've already subtracted the $1 million that you spent, okay? Plus, they're gonna add more stuff on there. By the time that $1 million is really now, it's about $2.5 million. I promise you on everything. They gonna figure out something. Miscellaneous stuff, all the stuff that you eat, all those people in there buying steaks and, you know what I'm saying, and bringing their entourages and then they eating and all this stuff. All that is on your tab.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, please, people, you know.
Gotta be smart. Gotta be smart. Especially now. We gotta get creative now. Because now we in the pandemic, you in quarantine. So you gotta get super creative. And it's you know, for me as a dancer, you know, my first dance gig, bro, was my first teaching dance gig. I made $17 per class. $17. That was like it. Whoa. You know, for a 1 hour class. Now, if I go teach somewhere, somebody hit me up, they want me to come out and they want me to teach, I can get paid, you know, anywhere upwards of $1,000 for 1 hour to go teach. And it's different now. And here's the one thing that I notice about you guys is that, number one, you guys know your worth. And many people don't know their worth like that. And it's like, sit there and take the $100 or the $200 or something like that. But if you don't know your worth, and if you can't back it up, like, you know, what are you doing now? You know what I'm saying? Right. So how important is it for people to actually know their worth in the game?
Hey, man, and that's very, very vital. You know what I'm saying? You got to know your worth. You got to already see yourself as a star before you, like, walking in the door. You know what I'm saying? And it's real interesting. You were saying about, like, you being being a dancer. You know what I mean? Like, that's a part of our culture there too. Right. We have 2 dancers in our group now. You know, and those two dancers, one of them have their own spot or whatever, and we notice that off of them. Like, we know, like, they know what they're bringing to the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what you do. Like, you know, as long as you know your worth, know that you are bringing something to the table. You know what I'm saying? Freak it. You're working to where you are the table. You know what I'm saying?
Woo! Yeah.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, man, don't let nobody back you down and chump you off and make you feel like you're like on the lower end. Because I guarantee you that if they're doing that, it's for a reason. And they actually really, really need you. You know what I'm saying? So if you're getting the low end of the stick. So I congratulate you for knowing that at an early age. Because I promise you.
Because listen, I got 4 kids now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a game. You know what I mean? Exactly. And fatherhood, as you know, ain't no joke. So,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, listen, I tell people this all the time. Like, this is my rate. Your budget is your budget, but my rate is my rate.
Straight up. Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is what it is.
It's 6 people that live in my house. I gotta feed them all, including myself.
Right.
So I have to set a high standard. I feel that a lot of people, you know, today, they don't know how to set that standard for themselves. Society may paint this picture for them, like, this is what it's supposed to be. And, you know, we grew up in a completely different era where, you know, you had to work hard for every single thing. There was no social media when you guys were coming up. When I was coming up in the dance game, there was no my social media was at the club.
Right. Like, they tell you network. Yeah, that was it.
Networking. You know what I'm saying? Networking at the club. When we would battle, listen, guys that are listening to this right now, we would battle to 112 songs, Dance With Me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would be battling to these songs, guys. Like, we was in a club every night trying to get better. Like, that was where it was at for us. Nowadays, you know, I'm not trying to compare the time, but you know, it's like, listen,
it's different.
It's different.
It's
different. So you guys got to appreciate the things that you guys have today. Like, we can't make excuses because this is when you were born. This is when God said you were allowed to come into the world. Right. But you got to be appreciative of whatever those that paved that way to make this happen. You know. Now, from a fatherhood standpoint, how hard was it to balance family and your job as an entertainer,
Oh
man?
my God. Hey, that was so crazy. First off, but I had my sons very early. Like I had my first son, I think I was like 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it was like no excuses though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I have to move to New York. I have to do this album. Hey, whether me and the mother of my kids are getting along or not, man, that's not, hey, look, that has nothing to do with your kids. Like,
Right.
so for the most part of his younger life, you know what I'm saying, he was in New York with me.
Mm,
So I had to adjust. So just imagine living in with a group,
right.
you know what I'm saying? And then you got a baby.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And and you're still a teenager yourself. It's like kids have kids. Man, it still wasn't it's no excuse. Still have responsibilities. So hey, shout outs to all
yeah.
the single mothers and all the single fathers
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean, are not giving no excuses. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it has to happen because the kid didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said I can relate to you. You have 4, I had 3. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, hey, at the end of the day, hey man, we had to
Yeah.
make it.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And I get it, man, because my wife and I, before we shut our dance studio down last year, we, our kids, that's where we live. We pretty much was in the dance studio all the time, making, and it was with us. I was making choreography. I had my son right there. I had my daughter right here, right next to me.
Yes.
We was in, we
Yeah.
was dancing. This is what we do. And sometimes, my pastor said this. He said, obedience sometimes requires sacrifice.
Exactly.
But
Straight up.
not all sacrifice is obedient. You know what I'm saying? And it was deep for me because it's
That's
like,
deep.
yo, it's deep.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, you gotta pick and choose on what is sacrificial and not sacrificial. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
and especially right now during this pandemic, people are making a lot of sacrifices. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, what motivation or what advice can you give? Oh, this is the question I want to actually paint for you. And I ask this question for everybody on the podcast. If Slim of 112 had the entire world if you had the entire world looking at you right now, listening to you, you had every single ear right now, all 7.5 billion, however many people is in the
Oh
world right
man.
now during this pandemic, what would you say or what would you sing to them to give them motivation and encouragement to continue to move
I,
forward?
you know what? Like I said, first off, I would tell everybody to trust in God.
Mm.
That's one. You don't
Mm.
trust in man, you trust in nobody but God, right? And what I would say is, I would say not to be selfish. You know what I'm saying? And right now is a time of discipline.
Yes.
And also with being, you know what I'm saying, being sitting still and being home and being disciplined, now is the time to reflect where you are and where you want to be in life.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? This is a time where everybody said, man, if I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do this. I don't know to make a plan or whatever, because so much of stuff is going on and I'm working all these hours. Well, guess what? I'm not working no hours.
Right.
We're sitting still. We're right here. Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I will combine all this stuff together. First of all, let's thank all of the essential workers out here. You know what I mean? Putting their life
Yes,
on the line,
absolutely.
doing
Yep.
everything. And it goes from the nurse, the doctors, to the people, the grocery store workers, to like everybody that's making it to where we can live somewhat of a normal life. You know what I'm saying? Let's not take nobody for granted. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Let's thank them. Let's make them feel special. You know what I'm saying? Let's do something for them in any kind of way. Just kind words, because nobody understands what the problems that they're going. You think we going through something?
Right.
We
Facts.
going. They're telling us, guess what? We go to work so you can stay at home.
Yep.
So, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they're putting their lives on the line. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I would tell everybody, you know what I'm saying, like let's work together. We're all in it together.
Yeah.
This pandemic it has no. It's not racist. It's not nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
It's no
we're all
discrimination
in it.
on this virus right here. It don't care about
Yeah.
you know, if you black, white, Puerto Rico,
Don't
whatever,
matter.
it don't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've had, you know, 3 family members rather, you know, that have been, you know, contracted with the virus. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? 2 of them have made it. One of them, you know, passed away unfortunately, you know, a couple weeks ago. And
Right.
it hits hard, man. It hits hard. We gotta really focus on the fact that, yo, your family is so important. It's above money. It's above fame. It's above, you know, oh, I gotta go out and get this and get that. Like, no, like you gotta love God first, like Slim was
Yep.
just saying, and then you gotta love that family, and then
Yes.
what comes, because God is a God of order. You know what I'm saying? At the end
Exactly.
of the
Straight
day,
up.
God is a God of order, and if you ain't in order, you know what I'm saying, then your life gonna be out of order for ever until you
Yeah.
get in order. You know what I'm saying, man? Yo, so let's skip ahead a little bit. You jumped into a single role, you know, in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I tagged you on Instagram with me and Christian, and we was rocking this little
Right.
body.
Right. Right. That
That
got
was
my
my
attention.
joint.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, man. So what made you jump into the singles role? Is something you always wanted to do?
What you mean as single as far as?
Like wanted to go into a solo
Oh
project.
man, no, I never wanted to go solo.
Oh,
I was very comfortable with being the lead singer of the most, you know what I mean, probably most successful R&B group of our generation.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I was very comfortable. I was blessed with it. I felt humble. Thank you, you know. But, you know, you have four guys in the group. I mean, with 4 guys, you're going to have different opinions and, you know, different everything. You know what I'm saying? So life puts you in situations where you have to adjust. That's
yeah,
just life. You know what I'm saying? So I never wanted to be the guy, the coulda, shoulda guy, woulda guy, you know. And if I was gonna do something, I wanted to do it doing it my way. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, of course, I was offered a whole bunch of major deals, but I wanted to do it myself. And thank God that was the best decision I made musically in all my 24 years of doing it. That was the most money I made or whatever. I believed in myself. I get together my day ones, the dudes that didn't leave, didn't
yeah,
give up or whatever. They rocked with me. So we rocked. It was from the mud straight up. And man, blessed. Here we go.
yeah,
This is God right here.
yeah,
First single, Here Comes So Fly.
yeah,
Here it comes.
yeah,
Like, man, big shout out to Odds and Ends over at Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
and Ricky P, man, everybody from Orlando who just jumped off and just supported this record off porch.
Bro.
And then go to the Bay, of all places. I
Yeah.
broke it in the Bay.
Yeah.
They embraced me like I was from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And of course, you already know I had to do.
Yes.
I brought it to the East Coast. I came up there to New
Yes,
York.
sir.
And yeah, man, hey, game over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, game over. And before you know it, I had I had a top 5 record in the country.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Independent. And people thought that it was, man, that was independent. That was a blessing.
Yeah, that was a blessing, man. Wow. Now listen, I gotta ask this question because I know the listeners are gonna be like, yo, if you don't ask this question, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So what was it like working with one of the greatest rappers of all time, Biggie Smalls?
Oh man. Notorious B.I.G., man, rest in peace. Saw brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, yo, one of the most coolest, humblest dudes, you know what I mean? Like, forget the 400-pound, 6'4", you know what I'm saying? Very proud, you know what I'm saying, figure, right? Yeah, he looked like he looked like a giant to me.
Hey.
Oh my God. Like, he was crazy because, you know what I'm saying, his aura was like, he commanded your attention, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, he respected us like crazy. So it was a lot of times, you know, we were always around him. So, you know, he was always laughing and having fun, and you know what I'm saying? And people didn't understand just how like funny and like, you know, things that it just used to roll off of him. So one time, I'm gonna tell y'all a story.
Okay.
So one time, I think Snoop and Tupac made this video where in the first part of the video, it started out with these 2 characters. They looked just like Puff and Big, but what they did, they called them Pig and Buff. I think it was Gangsta Party. It was one of
I think I remember
which I
that.
personally love. I love the record too, man.
Right.
So they started off, you know, and they were like, you know, kind of like, you know, like making fun or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, right?
Right.
Man, Big laughed so hard. Like he
Right.
thought that it was so funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people were looking at him like, what are, yo, he's making fun of you. He was like, yo, man, like, yo, you have to give it to him. Like, hey, they're actually, I mean, they bringing it basically. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was, you know, it was just fun. Like,
That's
it's
amazing.
so many
This is in
stories
the
of
middle
Big.
of the East Coast West Coast beef, right?
Yeah, man. In the middle of the East Coast West Coast beef, man, it was just crazy. Um, like, and that was a very wild and challenging time in itself. You talk about wild
Yeah.
and challenging times,
Yeah.
you know, because it wasn't with the artists, because big shouts to all of them. First off, people didn't even know, like me, I was friends with the lead singer of the Outlaws. Like, we were cool with, because of, you know what I'm saying, certain ties. We were very, very cool with Snoop and the whole DPG gang. You know what I'm saying? Big shouts out to Corrupt,
Right.
Dash, we ever homies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. But it was the streets that were believing they were actually making things that were on wax into real reality situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we will go to places that were in the Midwest, and you don't know which side, what is going on. We'll go to the mall, man. You got 200-300 people out here screaming "Bad Boy Killer," and oh my God, it used to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but I ain't in front, man. Man, just knowing it was a blessing to know the Notorious B.I.G., man, and just to be able to work with him is one thing. You know what I'm saying? To know him as an actual person and be able to call him your brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? His family, we knew his family. You know what I'm saying? And you know, absolutely amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't give that away for everything.
Man, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during those times, just to experience that, man. But listen, I'm not gonna take too much more of your time. I want to end this off right now with every guest that I have on the podcast. I do a little game. Are you down?
I'm straight, bro. Let's go.
All right, cool. So the game is called In the Clutch. All right. In the Clutch. My name is Kenny Clutch. So In the Clutch.
Straight up.
So In the Clutch is an acronym for my first company that I created back in 2009. In the Clutch stands for Inspirational Dancers Creatively Linking Upon the Culture of Hip Hop.
Cool.
All right, so INDACLUTCH, Inspirational Dancers Creatively Linking Upon the Culture of Hip Hop.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I'm going to give you a letter, and you have to give me a positive word for the people on every letter I give.
Okay, positive word.
Positive word. All right, here we go. Ready? C.
Go. Can.
L.
Love.
U.
United.
T.
Trust.
C.
I said can.
H.
Heaven.
That's Clutch, everybody. We got my man Slim from 112. Brother, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Where can the people find you at, and when is the new music coming out?
All right, so we're working on it right now. We're at the primitive stages of it. So understand, give us about, 4 to 6 weeks, before y'all start hearing something, or, we're going to have something on some form of platform. You'll be able to know that by going to the official 112 page. The official 112 page is 112's official page. My page is official slim _ right? And then my brother is Michael Keith of 112. You know what I'm saying? You can find us. That's the IG page. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to get better with this whole social media thing, because we ain't had this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know, man.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing to talk about there, man. This is crazy.
Hey, bro, listen, this is what we're going to do. I will help y'all out. Let me know what y'all need.
Cool.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll link y'all up, you know what I mean? And we can have a powwow, and we can make it do what it do.
Yeah, man.
Word up, brother. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Everybody, listen up. If you like this podcast, if you love this podcast, you should love this podcast. Make sure you subscribe, comment below. Make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click that bell and give me a thumbs up so it can go up to the recommended guys. And if you are hearing this on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, make sure you, again, share this with your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your brother, your stepmama, your stepdaddy, your coworker, I don't care who it is. Make sure you go ahead and share this with somebody. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow my man official Slim _ on Instagram. Go ahead and follow 112. Go get that music for all you young bucks that want to hear some real R&B. Go back and learn from the best. Yo. I'm trying to tell you. But make sure that you don't hit Slim up or whatever for your child support issues if you start having some.
Hey man, listen, right? I'm trying to tell people, man, they keep confronting me with that. I go to the grocery store, they be like, man, look at them kids over there, man. Man, look at how the ages of them, man. You did. I said, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Look at your wife over there. Look at her. You know what I'm saying? I get it. She, you know, you could have picked that. You know, you had something you could have picked up and used. Now, we didn't make a song. But it's all love. We appreciate it, man.
My favorite song was Sweet Love.
Here we go.
That was my joint, and it was a rap.
Yeah, man.
It was a rap.
But yeah, man, it's a rap.
Yes, sir. So everybody, make sure again you like, subscribe, comment below. It's your boy Kenny Clutch, and remember, like we always say, when we change the mind, we change the game. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will worry about itself, and today is all we have. So go out and impact today. It's your boy Kenny Clutch on the Clutchvision podcast. One love. Till next time. Peace.
Cause when we change the mind, we change the game.